The emotional incest that surrounds this TikTok boy mum trend is truly alarming. Boy mums, not to be confused with women who have sons, treat their boys like their spouses. The behaviour is this kind of no one's going to love you as much as I will kind of vibe. They refer to their sons growing up and leaving the home as a breakup. They set up these loving scenes with quotes like, "You'll be his first kiss, his first love," positioning the future partners as rivals to the mother. Or in this meme, where they just straight up criticise their toddler's imaginary future wife's cooking skills. These mums are trying to raise the husbands that they never had, seeking the emotional fulfillment that the husband should provide, but instead putting it onto the son. This is the tragedy that is emotional incest, where the parent relies on the child to meet the emotional needs that's usually fulfilled by the adult partner. The parent's needs comes first, boundaries are blurred, guilt ensues, proven right. If this struck a chord with you, then follow for more, because if you scroll away, you're never going to be able to find me again.
Hey besties. Today, we're diving into a topic that doesn't get enough discussion but can be so important. The complicated world of boy moms and how these relationships with their sons can sometimes take on toxic traits. Now, I want to preface this by saying that not every mom-son relationship is toxic. But there are some patterns that, if they go unchecked, can impact sons in really tough ways as they grow up. We're going to break it down and really talk about what this looks like, why it happens, and the lasting effects it can have on both sons and their future relationships. So grab a cup of tea or coffee, settle in, and let's get into it.
I don't think a lot of men realize that their mother is in love with them. Fellas, it's not normal for your mother to be hostile to your girlfriend or wife. Unwarranted, of course. If she's a piece of shit, she's a piece of shit. And if she is, why are you with her? But if you hear your own mother saying, "Oh, she's taking you away from me. Oh, you always side with her instead of me," it's giving side piece behavior. And I bring this up, a lot of men are like, "No woman's ever gonna love me like my mama does." They're not supposed to. Maternal love is supposed to be different from romantic love. A lot of times this happens either from single mothers or women who are married to absolute pieces of crap, and they latch onto their sons for the emotional needs that their husbands don't give them. And when they finally come across a woman who's willing to bring it up and be like, "That's odd." You dudes get super defensive of your mother. "Oh, well, she's all I've ever had. She raised me." Yeah. And if she wasn't unhealthily attached to you, she would want you to find happiness. She should want to have a healthy relationship with the woman that you choose to spend your life with. Your mother should not be fighting for your attention. I don't necessarily blame a lot of men for going along with this because they don't know. They grew up and they thought it was normal. But when you have a woman who loves you and she cares about you and they sit you down and they say, "This is a problem," maybe listen to her.
So, first things first, what do we mean by boy mom? Traditionally, a boy mom is simply a mother who has sons. But the term has grown to describe moms who are really focused on and proud of raising boys, sometimes even making it part of their identity. Most boy moms are amazing, nurturing, and dedicated to raising their kids right, but sometimes this dedication can cross into attachment and dependency that can affect both the mom and the son. Now, let's get into the signs of a toxic relationship in this context. One big indicator is when the mom overly relies on her son for emotional support or companionship. In healthy relationships, moms allow their sons to grow independently, but in toxic dynamics, the mom may try to keep her son close by making him feel guilty about gaining independence. Another red flag is when a mom feels the need to control or micromanage her son's choices, from friends to career to romantic relationships. These signs may not seem like a big deal at first, but over time, they can affect a son's ability to form his own identity.
A boy mom can't imagine her 19-year-old baby boy beginning to date because, in her words, "I was his first love." The mom posted to Facebook revealing her sorrows about her beautiful baby boy, who is in fact a 19-year-old grown man, and his desire to date. This mom says she just can't imagine another girl. Where do we begin with this? This mom didn't receive any consolation or validation. Most people were bewildered that she was so upset about her, again, adult son wanting to date. When the post was shared on X, one person called this out as emotional incest because children shouldn't be made to feel responsible for their parents' feelings, especially when it's romantic in nature. Others urged this mom to seek professional help, but she didn't believe that her obsession with her adult son was strange. She even called out other moms for not having the same relationship with their sons as her son is her best friend. #BoyMomStrong. Parents should not be jealous when their children start dating, especially if they don't start dating until 19 years old. It's completely normal for a mother to love her children and want to protect them even when they're grown, but it's not normal to love them to the point of jealousy when they date. Instead of jealousy, offer guidance and support when they become interested in dating. Look out for them in an appropriate, non-creepy way and treat their partners with respect. Moms, allow your children to leave the nest and experience all that life has to offer without holding their hand every step of the way. And this should go without saying, but he is your son, not your boyfriend.
A term that's often used in psychology for these kinds of relationships is emotional spouse. This happens when a mom leans on her son for emotional support as if he's her partner rather than her child. She might share her worries, anxieties, or even personal struggles with her son in a way that's inappropriate. This can place a heavy burden on him, making him feel like he has to take care of her emotions rather than focusing on growing up himself. It's an unspoken pressure to be there for her, even if it means he sacrifices his own needs. One of the major effects of a toxic boy-mom relationship is how it can affect her son's future romantic relationships. When a mom has a strong, controlling grip on her son, he may struggle to set boundaries in his relationships as he gets older. It can make it hard for him to commit to someone else fully or leave room for his partner. This attachment can lead to jealousy from the mom when he starts dating, and unfortunately, it can sometimes sabotage his relationships with potential partners. The son is caught between loyalty to his mom and his own desire for a healthy partnership.
That weird mom-son relationship dynamic where mom puts their son on some kind of a pedestal. They can do no wrong. No girl will ever be good enough for them. And if there's a second sibling that happens to be a girl, there is a very distinct differentiation between which one is the favorite and this kind of preference. In psychology, we actually have a term for this and a phenomenon that happens in family systems. It's called enmeshment. Enmeshment is basically when people, particularly parents and children, lack boundaries and emotional autonomy, and all those things kind of fuse together. But how does mother-son enmeshment happen? So mother-son enmeshment happens normally when the son takes on the role of a companion for the mom. So normally here, the mom's partner, like the dad, is normally emotionally unavailable, super busy with work. So then the mom puts the role that would normally be assigned to the husband onto the son. The mom and son's identity has now merged and he has lost his independent identity. So everything his mom wants, he wants. Everything his mom needs, he needs. And you have seen that phenomenon where it's like, well, my mom doesn't want this. Well, my mom doesn't want that. And then you're kind of maybe sometimes in relationships with people like this and they're like, well, it's not about your mom, it's about us. We're in a relationship, but the mom will always be that main figure. What are some common traits within the men who have an enmeshed relationship with their mom? So one of them is that they always try to gear their romantic partners to please their family members, specifically their mom. So they have to be in alignment and not pose a threat to the mothers. They are ambivalent to any form of commitment. You will always play second fiddle to the mother. That means if you're a partner with someone like this, your opinion will be more than likely third. They hide behind what other people want from them. So they'll pick career paths that suits them based off of the approval of their parents, and they can't make decisions for themselves. They have to run it by these authority figures in their lives. Their sense of autonomy is completely just not present. The really interesting thing here is that sometimes you'll catch yourself wondering why they treat their moms like their romantic partners. So it'll be like, are you into your mom? Like, why are you treating her like that? And another thing, which is super unhealthy, is that they would want to be coddled and babied the way that their mothers did for them, do everything for them.
Sometimes in toxic boy-mom relationships, there's a golden child effect, where the son is held up on a pedestal. He's the perfect son who can do no wrong in his mom's eyes, but that comes with a cost. He might feel constant pressure to live up to her expectations, making him feel guilty or even ashamed when he fails. It's like he's been put in a role he didn't choose, and anything less than perfection can disappoint her. This dynamic can make him feel trapped, unable to express his true self for fear of losing her approval. These kinds of relationships often lead to codependency. A toxic boy-mom might over-identify with her son, to the point that her happiness depends on his choices and presence. And for the son, this creates a constant pressure to keep her happy. This codependency can affect his ability to form his own identity because he's so used to putting her needs above his own. It's a difficult pattern to break because it's often built on years of habit and expectation. Some toxic boy moms have a deep-seated fear of abandonment, often rooted in past experiences or failed relationships. They might cling to their sons out of fear that he'll leave her one day. This fear can manifest as manipulative behaviors, like guilt-tripping him for wanting his own life. And because of this, the son may feel obligated to stay close and meet her needs, even if it means sacrificing his own goals or relationships. The effects of this toxic relationship can extend beyond romantic relationships and into friendships, too. Sons of toxic boy moms may struggle with male friendships because they aren't used to healthy boundaries. They might feel out of place when they see friends who don't have the same intense relationships with their own moms. It can be isolating because for many sons in this situation, they've been conditioned to believe that their relationship dynamic is normal.
There are pick-me's and there are boy moms. Let's talk about the weird relationship that boy moms have with their sons, aka emotional incest. Now, the start of the video is a trend which started out very differently. At first, it was about mothers teaching their sons life skills such as cooking and cleaning so that they don't burden their future partners with their weaponized incompetence. But trust boy moms to make it weird. They have turned this trend on its head, where it has now become about manufacturing tension and competition with their sons' hypothetical future partners. Now let's get a bit nerdy. Freud, an Austrian neurologist and founder of psychoanalysis, created this theory called the Oedipus complex, where the male child harbors desire for his mother and tension for their father because that father has access to the mother. Now, let me put my own spin on this theory, where in this case, the mother to a son harbors desire for her son and thus creates tension and competition and hatred for their child's partner or future partner. So this is a very clear case of emotional incest where there is some level of proxy. I can't even begin to even fathom how weird this is. I'm sorry. This is so weird.
Hi, baby.
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
So, this is my girlfriend.
Oh, hi. Honey, you're not wearing the outfit I picked out for you.
Mom.
Well, I hope you guys had a good date. I hope you're treating him right, because I've been taking him on dates since he was a baby.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, I cut the crusts off for him. It's a mom thing.
You want him off too?
So, I know you guys just started dating, but you guys are coming to our house for Christmas, right? We do the big Christmas bash. I don't know what your family does, but ours is really good. Just come to ours, you know? Young love, so sweet. I remember when I met the love of my life. It was just when that little guy kicked in my stomach for the first time. So what's been going on with you two?
Well, Mom, we've been having a lot of fun, and she actually just gave me my first kiss.
Oh, baby, I was your first kiss. It's okay. I'll give up some hugs and kisses for you, though. It's okay. Okay, well, I guess I'll just leave you two alone. But just as a side note, honey, just don't try to cook for him, okay? Because I make him the best meals. He's really used to my cooking. Bye.
See you, Mom.
Problem with men that are mama's boys. If you want to know all about it, here we go. So there are two types of men. Men that honor, love, and respect their mothers. Second, that only prioritizes their mothers over their spouses or their partners. Feel mo naman if yung boyfriend or yung husband mo he's a bit too much of a mama's boy. No, ano nga ba ang criteria ng when this partner of you is a mama's boy? Ganda sa lalaki ang mapagmahal sa parents. Yes, mayroong adult man or adult baby na adult na siya pero wala siyang authority of himself. Ano usually ang mga linyahan or sinasabi ng mga mama's boys? Eto, asawa na papalitan. pero ang nanay hindi. So basically, with that mantra, with that mindset, kung ganyan yung mindset ng partner mo, chances of you being prioritized is not good. Never gonna happen. Yun maganda if lahat ng problem nyo as a couple, sinasabi niya sa mama niya. Because at the end of the day, it's your relationship. Kayo bumunon at mas kayo makakaintindi dahil mas magkasama kayo. At naririnig mo na lagi siyang humihingi ng opinion sa mother niya at sinusunod niya yung mother niya and he doesn't listen to you and he just goes to his mom. You're with a mama's boy. Another trait ng mga mama's boy is he will not protect you against their mom. Anong ko ibig sabihin doon? Kunyari, may mga sinasabing judgments or opinions yung friends ng mom niya or mom mo. Instead of like standing up for you or tatayo sa tabi mo, mas kakampihan pa niyan yung mom niya kahit na hindi kanya narinig or dapat pumanig yan sa'yo. Now, lumipat tayo ng pwesto dahil may flying ipis. Okay, sorry. Tuloy. These kind of men, they have need to have their own growth and own authority. Dahil malalaki na to at may sarili tong isip. And wag kayo makipag-relationships ng mga ganong lalaki because why? There are men out there that love and respect and honor their mothers but also love and respect their spouses or their girlfriends. Kung sinasabing kinakampihan ka kahit mali ka, no, but you know, nasa tamang rason, nasa tamang pag-iisip. So girls, if you are in this kind of relationship and nafe-feel mo wala kang any say sa jowa mo, sa husband mo, never kang prioritize, laging opinion ng ibang tao versus you, that's an adult baby. Challenge, aim higher, challenge your standards, girls, okay? Life, you have choices. And that choices falls on you. So, it's all up to you, girls. Because there are good men out there na hindi i-compromise yung feelings nyo. Okay?
We also have to recognize the societal factor here. Society often expects men to be close with their moms, even holding up mama's boy relationships as endearing or desirable. This can add pressure on sons to maintain these dynamics, especially if they're told that a good son always puts his mom first. But what's missing in this is the need for boundaries and individuality, which are crucial for a healthy relationship. In many cases, toxic boy-mom dynamics are learned behaviors passed down through generations. A mom who behaves this way may have grown up in a family where similar patterns were the norm. Understanding that this can be generational doesn't excuse the behavior, but it does help us understand why it's so difficult to change. Sometimes, these moms don't realize the impact they're having because it's all they know.
Hi, mamas. I really need some advice on my baby boy. He called me up today and let me know that his girlfriend said I really need to take a step back and stop trying to interfere in their relationship. Honestly, I have no idea what she's talking about. I do not interfere with the relationship at all. She's just trying to take my son away from me. I mean, I did tell him that Saturday nights are dinner with the family, but he's been doing that ever since he was a baby, so I really don't understand why that would change when he's 23 years old. And it definitely shouldn't change now that he has a girlfriend in his life because I'm still the number one woman in his life. And I just don't understand why they both don't seem to understand that. So I just really need some advice on how to get it through her brain that I'm still the number one. And that it's really her that's overstepping and interfering in me and my son's relationship, actually. So let me know what you guys think, because this is really just, it's hurting my heart.
I feel like there's a big difference between women who are raising sons and women who consider themselves to be boy moms. Whenever women call themselves boy moms, red flags go off everywhere in my brain and Sigmund Freud enters the chat. This is obviously not always the case, but almost every boy mom that I've ever come across is engaging in emotional incest. They are embodying that saying of women raise their daughters, but they love their sons. Yeah, those are the boy moms. They be the ones talking about they're the first and only women in their son's life, fantasizing about how they're going to abuse their daughter-in-laws, not even thinking that there might be a son-in-law instead. But don't worry, they'll abuse them too. They just be overly obsessed with their boys in a way that's actually really scary when you think about it. Like if a man was obsessed with his daughter in the way that a lot of these women are obsessed with their sons, y'all would think that he was touching her somewhere he shouldn't. And in the same way that it happens with men and their daughters, it absolutely happens with women and their sons. But because people don't see women as predators, they don't think about that. I be thinking about that. Boy moms. Call them cops.
So, What can a son do if he finds himself in this kind of relationship? First, he has to acknowledge that it's okay to want boundaries. Setting limits isn't a rejection of his mom, it's an act of self-care. Having open, honest conversations about his needs can be hard, but it's essential for his well-being. Therapy can also be a powerful tool in helping sons untangle their identity from their mom's expectations and understand that they have the right to their own lives. And for the moms who may realize they're too attached to their sons, there are ways to start shifting the relationship. Taking a step back and allowing their son to grow independently is one. They can find ways to fill their own emotional needs outside of their relationship with their son, whether it's through hobbies, friendships, or even their own therapy. Breaking these habits is hard, but ultimately worth it for both the mom and son. There are so many stories of mothers and sons who've worked through these toxic patterns and come out stronger on the other side. Sometimes, all it takes is a willingness to see things differently, to understand that this intense closeness doesn't have to mean dependency. With awareness and effort, it's possible to build a healthy, respectful, and loving relationship where both people are allowed to grow.
Ooh, this topic is long overdue, and it's one that particularly plagues South Asian married women, but at the same time is felt universally across all women that are in relationships with the mama's boy. The one that has that really weird relationship with his mom, slightly incestuous, doesn't know how to keep boundaries with her. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a big difference between a man who respects his mother and one that lets her overstep and come into his woman's territory. And before the aunties even start in the comments and start telling me that, oh, we raised that son, we poured our blood, sweat, and tears into that son. Ma'am, he's your son. Learn how to have a healthy relationship with him. He is not your husband. That's weird. For my ladies, here's something I want you to consider. Is it that he's a mama's boy, or is he a victim of emotional incest? I'll glaze over what emotional incest is really quickly here, but if you're curious, look it up. You might be surprised. Basically, when his mom has acted like his woman all his life, and that's all he knows. Think about it, he hasn't had any other mom. He probably hasn't witnessed what a healthy relationship with a mother should look like. Sorry, intermission. I'm in Mexico and room service just arrived, so 1 second. And if that's the case, it is going to be so hard for him to understand that the relationship that he has with his mom is not normal. And as his wife or girlfriend, you're looking at it being like, dude, what the heck is going on? So I guess my advice is first approach it with a place of compassion. He might not even be aware that what he's doing is not okay. Because prior to you, that's all he ever knew. And now to heal from that trauma, when you don't even realize that it's trauma, is going to take an immense amount of work. Because first, you have to acknowledge the damage that was done. And then he has to learn how to have a healthy relationship with his mother and how to set boundaries, while also accepting that his mom's probably not going to change. She's not the one that's going to be like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. Because she's got her own trauma that she's dealing with, her own void that she was trying to fill with her son. Usually, it's a lack of emotional connection with their own husband, and so they fill that void with their son. And so when a wife is brought into the picture, she feels as though that she is stealing her son away from her. I think all of this is really important in order to gain an understanding of what exactly is going on. Now, I'm not any expert, but I do love reflecting on relationships and analyzing what makes them healthy. We'll get deeper into this topic in part 2, so make sure you follow. I'm gonna go eat some French fries.
There's a huge difference between a man who is close with his mother and has a good relationship with her and a mama's boy. And here's why you're gonna want to avoid being with a mama's boy. Mama's boys tend to be overly attached to their mother, meaning they have a very difficult time separating. No matter how well you treat him, no matter what you do for him, if he's a mama's boy, his mom is always gonna come before you. And in many cases, a mama's boy is gonna go straight to his mom for support instead of you. Another reason is mama's boys boys care too much about what their mom thinks, and if his mom thinks negatively of you, it's going to cause conflict and it's going to cause drama. In these types of situations, if the mom disapproves of the relationship or is overly involved in the relationship, it's not going to look good for you guys. And this is in great part because mama's boys have a difficulty with making independent decisions of their own because they're always relying on their mommy for guidance. Bro, you're a grown fucking man. Make your own decision. Another thing to understand is mama's boys on average usually want everything to go their way because this is how they were conditioned from their upbringing due to their mother's treatment. His mom has treated him in such a way to that everything is going according to how he wants it, and he's gonna look for this exact treatment in you. This one might be a little weird, but it happens. Dealing with a mama's boy, his mom can blame you for tearing apart their mother and son bond. If that man is a mama's boy, he ain't gonna back you up over what his mom says about you. His mom could be criticizing the way you dress, criticizing the things you do, criticizing the way you cook, criticizing anything about you, speaking of you derogatory and ill manners. And he is not gonna back you up. He will always take her side over you. And one of the biggest, if not the biggest red flag when dealing with a mama's boy is you're basically dealing with a grown ass child. And to be honest on that one, I don't even think that requires any elaboration because I'm pretty sure you all know what I'm talking about. So avoid a mama's boy at all costs because it is not in your position to be that man's mother. He's gonna expect you to cook like her, clean like her. What the fuck? Are you serious? You're your own individual. You are not his mom. Avoid mama's boys at all costs. Trust me on this one. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, or feel free to share this with anyone who you think might find it interesting. Mucho mango? This should be hitting, to be honest.
So, besties, toxic boy-mom relationships can be really hard to navigate. It takes awareness, honesty, and often some help from outside sources to untangle these complex dynamics. But know that it's possible to move towards a healthier, more balanced connection. Sons have the right to their own lives, and moms deserve relationships built on respect, not dependency. If you're dealing with this yourself or know someone who is, remember that understanding and communication are the first steps to change. Thanks for listening, and as always, let's keep supporting each other. Until next time, take care.